At the 98th Academy Awards, the biggest fight wasn't for Best Picture. It was a fight for the very soul of Hollywood. I want you to just think about that for a second. For 98 years, the Academy has handed out that little gold statue for Best Cinematography, and in all that time, a woman had never, ever won. That's almost a century, a ceiling that just seemed unbreakable. A huge crack in the foundation of the old guard, and maybe, just maybe, a sign of what's to come. All right, let's get into it. This was a night where you could just feel the anxiety in the room, you know? Huge corporate deals, massive battles happening behind the scenes. But the first truly historic moment of the evening, man, it was a win that was almost 100 years in the making. And this is her Autumn Gerald Archipel. Now, to understand just how huge this is, get this. She was only the fourth woman ever to even be nominated in this category. So yeah, when they called her name for her incredible work on the film Sinners, the entire Dolby Theater just shot to its feet. A massive standing ovation. That barrier, it didn't just crack. It was completely shattered. But look, as amazing as that moment was, it was really just the undercard. The main event was an absolute heavyweight showdown for Best Picture. And here's the twist. It was between two movies from the exact same studio. We're talking Titan versus Titan. So in one corner, you've got one battle after another. This is a huge, sprawling American epic. And the director? The legendary Paul Thomas Anderson, who, and this is kind of crazy, had been nominated 11 times before and never won. Everyone was saying he was long, long overdue. And in the other corner, Sinners, a giant, big-budget vampire story that critics absolutely loved. It racked up a record-breaking 16 nominations, and it was directed by the powerhouse Ryan Coogler. I mean, two total juggernauts going head-to-head. So, how did one battle end up taking the belt? Well, The Hollywood Reporter kind of nailed it. They said it boiled down to two things. First, you've got simple genre bias. I mean, a vampire movie, even a brilliant one, was probably just a little too out there for the Academy. But the biggest reason? This was their chance to finally fix what a lot of people saw as a mistake. It was time to give the statue to the guy everyone respects, but who kept getting overlooked, Paul Thomas Anderson. And when the dust settled, that's exactly what happened. One battle after another walked away with the big ones, Best Picture and Best Director for a total of 6 Oscars. Sinners put up a great fight, grabbing 4 awards, including that amazing cinematography win we just talked about. But yeah, at the end of the day, the night really belonged to Anderson's saga. Okay, so that was the big film battle. But outside of that, the acting awards, whoa, they had their own whole drama going on. We're talking about huge triumphs, total shocks, and some pretty incredible redemption stories. First up, MichaelBJordan. Now this race was tense. He was up against the frontrunner, Timothée Chalamet, who had some controversy swirling around him. When Jordan's name was called, people said it was the loudest, most thunderous applause of the whole ceremony. Just a massive, amazing win for an actor that, let's be honest, everybody loves. And then you get the comeback story of the decade, Amy Madigan. She wins Best Supporting Actress for this horror thriller Weapons. And get this, her win came 40 years after her very first nomination back in 1986. 40. I mean, talk about a career coming full circle. Just incredible. All right, now for the weirdest win of the night, hands down, Sean Penn for Best Supporting Actor. The guy didn't campaign, he didn't do any press, he didn't even bother to show up for the ceremony, and he still won. And with this win, he's now in this super exclusive club with guys like Walter Brennan, Jack Nicholson, and Daniel Day-Lewis. Just bizarre. And finally, we have a win that surprised absolutely no one, but was maybe the most emotional of the night. Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. I mean, she was the overwhelming favorite. Her performance was just devastating. But her win was also another historic moment. She became the very first performer from Ireland to ever win Best Actress. But here's the thing. While all these people are up on stage having the best night of their lives, there was this giant shadow hanging over the entire room. This is the real story, the one happening behind the scenes. That deep anxiety you could feel underneath all the glitz and glamour. And it all comes down to this number, $111 billion. What is that? That's the price tag for Paramount Skydance to buy Warner Bros. Yep, the same Warner Bros. That produced both of the frontrunners for Best Picture. So think about that. The studio that's having the biggest night, winning all these awards, is at the very same time being sold off, facing a total corporate takeover and a deeply uncertain future. That is the real drama of the night. And that massive deal, it's really just a symptom of a much bigger problem. Hollywood is, frankly, terrified right now. You've got studios merging left and right, which means the fear of mass layoffs is very real. You've got the existential threat of AI. Even the host, Conan O'Brien, made a joke about it. He said something like, "I'm honored to be the last human host." Everyone laughed, but for a lot of people in that room, it wasn't really a joke. So what's the final verdict here? The whole night was this weird paradox, right? You had these incredible, forward-thinking breakthroughs happening right next to these very safe, very traditional choices. It felt like a party inside a fortress. A celebration of movies while right outside the walls, the entire industry is bracing for an earthquake. And that leaves us with the big question. When the Academy picked the familiar, traditional saga over the bold, risky, genre-bending epic, were they just rewarding a filmmaking master who was long overdue? Or were they running scared? Were they retreating to the comfort of the past, right at the moment a terrifying, uncertain future is kicking down the door?